Hi everybody, welcome to the Honish Report. My name's Lee Honish. Today, short episode, we're going to talk about building out a marketing plan for you that is effective. We're going to look at the dynamics of how to build that out and all the different steps and parts you need to put in place to effectively get face-to-face, right? What are the pivot points? What are the pitfalls? What's the difference between advertising and marketing? I think these are all things that need to be addressed and discussed. Let's give you a quick update of what's going on in the current marketplace. As many of you are aware, we are down on sales again for the third straight month. So pending sales, existing sales are down. There has been a lot of hopeful rhetoric through most of the media sources that millennials are almost in a position to purchase. The problem with that is we have a supply and demand that we've talked about ad nauseum on this podcast, right? Where basically there's no inventory and it's driven the prices up, which everybody seems to believe that the millennials are the ones coming into the market that are going to purchase. But then you can look at a study that says they don't have confidence in the real estate market. And when you start to look at the numbers, how they break them down, I can understand how they're putting a positive spin on it, right? That's the way that NAR should do it. That's the way that these news sources should do it. Anything can be looked at two ways. I try to look at it objectively, and I realize that I personally am a little more leaning towards the doom and gloom side. I would always like to know the worst case scenario instead of the best case scenario of what's happening. What seems to be a basic to me is that at the very best, whatever the market is for you right now, good, bad, or indifferent, whatever the market is for you right now is the way the market's going to remain until minimum spring of next year. Now, that doesn't help many of you if you're in a position and need to get a listing generated right now so that you have money for the holidays, right? We've seen most of the summer dry up for us and now put us into a very difficult position going into the holiday season, right? After October, we have Thanksgiving and then Christmas. And sales traditionally slow down in those periods. So that's why I thought I would aggressively start now and trying to go in for the rest of the year, aggressively talking to people who still generate and do business and talking about marketing plans and talking about people who need to sell instead of want to sell, targeting data sources, talking to data providers, and of course, always use the monster. I know that's a gratuitous plug for my system, but again, I guarantee that you will get face-to-face appointments with people who need to sell. Okay, that's what I do. That's the reason you listen to this podcast. It's a reason there's 150,000 people on my message goes out to about 10% of the entire real estate population that hold a real estate license. There are about 1 million realtors and or real estate agents out there. I reach about 150 to 200,000 of them. And the show's listened to by many of them. And the reason I believe that people listen to it is you want to hear the other side of the coin. There doesn't seem to me, in my opinion, too many people talking about both sides of the coin. And my niche has become talking about the other side, right? If you want to call it doom and gloom, you're being too negative, you're only looking at this half empty instead of half full. Again, my livelihood is about me getting a listing, okay? Me personally. I happen to be a coach. I happen to have a marketing system. Those are great bonuses. If those stopped producing, I personally have the ability and do have the ability and still do it, go out and get listings and generate listings. Okay? That's how my household operates. It is a skill that I have. So my question to all of you, if you don't get listings or you don't get buyers or you don't do transactions, what is your skill beyond that? What is your diversification beyond that? We're going into the holiday season. I know many of you had a very difficult summer and had a very difficult time getting listings because the inventory dried up. Your buyers weren't able to buy what was available on the market. It's tougher to qualify. Great, the interest rates are zero, and that's continued to stimulate things, but it drove the prices up. We had a supply and demand issue. I mean, these are all things you physically have to take into account. So on that vein, first a commercial for the Monster, as always. Listen to it. Go visit thelistingmonster.com. Read more. Watch a webinar. Okay? That's all I'm asking. Watch the webinar and see if it's different. I have been in real estate since 1988. I have been in banking and real estate. I have knocked on doors. I have sent out mailers. I have done cold calling. I have done all the things you have done. I have walked the ground. I've also worked for banks and tried all the same processes. I haven't found anything as effective as the way the Monster operates. And when you watch the webinar, you'll see why it's effective. All right, move all that aside. Listen to the commercial. Go visit thelistingmonster.com. Go get yourself a guaranteed face-to-face appointment next week. On the other side, a direct training excerpt that I did that explains how to create the basics of advertising versus marketing, right? And the marketing funnel or the marketing vortex or the marketing blueprint. I like the word blueprint, right? This is the marketing blueprint. If you physically want to go see it, just go watch one of my webinars. It's in most of my webinars. But it's a physical blueprint of what has to occur, right, to getting a listing. And there are only 3 ways to get a listing. I outline them, and I outline the blueprint to get those listings. So, again, after a brief commercial for the Monster, please remember to go sign up for new episodes on iTunes or iHeartRadio of this show, or just visit the website, however you're listening to it right now, whatever format you're listening. Just click on the button so you get updates. It seems pretty simple enough, right? So that you're getting these. We do a podcast a minimum of once a week. Sometimes I'll even do 2 or 3 a week, depending on my mood. I'm really going to gear up and really try to force feed on this podcast you guys motivation to go out and get listings. I know that most agents at this time start to gear down. And I get it. There's heavy rains. There's even floodings, which is tragic in some areas. Snow's going to start, and that will affect transactions. Remember, I'm going to outline a blueprint after this commercial break that works rain, sleet, flood, or snow, right? Because I think your business is getting listings, and I think that's your number one skill set. And my job for doing this podcast, or even as a coach or a consultant, is to make sure that you have face-to-face appointments to give you the best possible opportunity to get listings. So, again, the Monster commercial. Please sign up. My name's Lee Honish. I appreciate you listening. If you have any questions or want any additional episodes, go to honish.com, HONISH.com, and I appreciate everybody for listening.
Are you a real estate agent, realtor, investor, or are you in the real estate business and you need new listings and deals? We have a solution for you, and that solution has guaranteed results. How much would you pay to get face-to-face with a homeowner that wants to sell their home? What if you also got their email address and daytime phone number? And what if this homeowner also scheduled you to come to their door at a set time to meet with you? Sound too good to be true? It isn't. And it is 100% guaranteed for you to meet face-to-face with a real homeowner who really needs to sell their home. Not only will you get this remarkable contact system and its 100% guarantee, at no additional charge, you will get weekly coaching, documents, and training on how to get that homeowner and convert them into a new listing. When you purchase, you'll also get a one-on-one walkthrough so that you can start using the system today. Visit www.thelistingmonster.com. That's www.thelistingmonster.com. Or call Diana Ortiz at 213-706-0040. Stop wasting time the old way. Use a Monster and get actual results today.
Welcome to the Honish Report, hosted by Lee Honish. The Honish Report is a look at the real estate market and creating effective marketing plans for realtors or investors to get new listings and deals. Your host, Lee Honish, has over 20 years of experience in real estate, banking, and marketing. Over the last 6 years, Lee has developed cutting-edge marketing and was named one of the most innovative marketers in America. With over 1 million views, Lee continues to be an advocate for the entire real estate community. Enjoy today's show.
There are 3 ways to get listings. Okay. The first is direct marketing, right? Let's understand the difference between direct marketing and advertising. Direct marketing is targeting individuals, knowing exactly what they want to talk about, right? And giving them a message that is exactly tailored to them. Okay, let me break that down to more basics. Let's talk about mailers as advertising and mailers as marketing. Mailers as advertising would be, in this neighborhood, I'm just going to send out as many postcards as my budget will allow. That's advertising. When you're talking marketing, okay, I'm going to target individuals, right? People who are distressed or defaulted, people who are 30, 60, 90 days late. I'm going to target those people specifically because the information is public, and I'm going to send them a direct message that will resonate with them, that they will understand directly. That is, and then send them that direct message with a call to action. That's marketing. So my basic rule of thumb is discussing marketing as compared to advertising, and I don't like advertising. Marketing is selecting someone and giving a message that is direct for someone. Advertising is always guessing. No matter what it is, door knocking, cold calling, mailers, billboards, bus benches, internet, whatever, it's going to always be guessing in my boat. Direct marketing, done correctly, targeted to a person with a process, right? Where you know you're going to give them a message, you know that message is going to be something they want to hear based on exactly what's happening in their life, will generate a response and generate my face-to-face, and then ultimately generate my listing. I think you also have to have some level of internet interaction with homeowners, and that's important for some basic reasons. Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, Realtor.com are all websites that redirect your prospects, your clients, your listings, your buyers, your sellers at other agents who are willing to pay to have their face up on the web when somebody's doing a search or doing research. So if you're talking about a specific data type, let's just use again what we're talking about today, distressed property, right? Wouldn't it make sense that you have things on the internet that are distressed property related? And the last way you get listings, and this is the number one way most people get listings, is through referrals, right? The number one source for me, the number one source for you, the number one source for anybody is when somebody qualifies you out and actually directs homeowners who want to buy or sell directly back at you. These are the three ways we get listings. There's nothing else, as long as I have reviewed it. So what does that mean in English? All right, if I'm going to create marketing, I have to take all of these things into account. And the first thing that I always take into account when I create marketing, period, even new marketing, or even when I was creating monster marketing, my first equation to that is that time is equal to money. Whatever time I invest is equal to the money I invest in the process. So I want whatever marketing I do not to have a large lag time or to take a lot of time. I also don't want it to cost a lot of money. I don't want there to be this, I got to wait months, I got to go through multiple courses, I got to spend thousands of dollars in mailers and hope for a result. Everything I do in regards to marketing, when I teach it, when I coach it, when I consult it, when I do it myself with monster marketing, okay, I am aware of your time, I'm aware of my time, and I'm aware of the money that you invest. So they all have to make sense monetarily. I also like things to be simple. I'm not a very complicated guy, right? I like very, very simple, straightforward things that have very direct results. So let's factor that in. I want it to be fast, I want it to be quick, I want it to be cost effective, and I need it to be simple because that'll generate for me a predictable outcome. So let's put it all together. Whatever I do has to be quick, it has to be inexpensive, it has to be very simple, and give me a very predictable outcome. Now, putting that all together so that you understand it, to get a listing, it is a chain of events that has to occur. And I have to include